diagnosed at the age of 3. Her personal journey inspired her to create a haven for families seeking guardians, advocacy, and connection. Our goal is to demystify autism, bridge the gap between families, communities, and essential support system. Through dynamic advocacy effort, accessible resources, and one-on-one support, Predu Lounge is driving positive change. We leverage media to amplify our message, share positive stories, and connect families with local services. Beyond that, we are actively involved in educational initiative, caregiving empowerment, and fostering partnerships that create lasting impact. We envision a world where individuals with autism and other special needs are celebrated for their uniqueness, free from societal stigma, and equipped to thrive. At Cradle Lounge, we are breaking down barriers and building an inclusive future for Nigeria, Africa, and beyond. Together, we can create a more accepting, informed, and supportive society, one step at a time.
There's some fundamental skills as humans that we all need. We all need to be able to communicate. We all need to be able to express ourselves. And we've come to find the creative as a balance. So we have children that are on the spectrum playing on the same level field with neurotypical children and doing better than them. So really, the goal is not to keep the kids with us. The goal is actually to teach the kids the skills that they need for different environments. And these skills are social skills that are relevant in different social settings. So the school, for example, skills that will be needed for a child to get value from a school or from a classroom is being able to sit down, join quiet, join circle time, join respond to questions when asked, and being able to just thrive in the classroom to the best of their capacity, right?
At Force ABA Center, every aspect of our services is based on applied behavior analysis. We provide services through the application of behavioral analytical methods. Our approach is uniquely designed for every child, from one-on-one sessions to group therapy and real-life situations.
Good morning. That was very weak. We've not had coffee, maybe, or we haven't had refreshments, or we're still on our phones. Let's do that again. Good morning. You're trying to match my energy. So I'll just take that as rehearsal. I'm sure when we officially start, the energy in this room will be off the chains, like the young ones say. So I want to say a big, big thank you. You could be anywhere today, this morning, a Thursday morning in Lagos, but you decided to be here physically. Some of you are joining us virtually, and we're so grateful to have you here at Sente conference. It's so good to see you. I mean, it's a conference, it's a trade fair, but more than anything else, I believe it's community and it's a movement. We'll soon be starting. We do apologize. We hoped to have started at 9:15 a.m., but we'll give about 5 minutes, so people can settle down. Everyone's makeup is still on fleek. Even the gentlemen, the powder is still setting. Lagos sun has not touched your makeup, your powder. So if you haven't already taken a picture outside, we have professional photographers who want to capture how beautiful, how handsome you're looking. So you can use the next 5 minutes or so to have your picture professionally taken. Also, we want you to post those pictures. If you have selfies, you have videos, please share using our hashtag, which is Sente2025. So don't just post, but post with the hashtag Sente2025. I'll be announcing the hashtag as the event goes on. Also, we want you to tag us. So when you're posting, just look for Sente. So if you're on Instagram, you're on TikTok, the handle is Sente NIG. Sente NIG is the handle for TikTok. If you're streaming with us here on YouTube, or you're on the platform X, formerly Twitter, the handle is Sente Nigeria. And if it is Facebook, it's Sente2025. So that 5 minutes I gave to take your picture, I think most people have taken their pictures. Nobody's getting up. But I love how people are bringing out their mobile phones to start uploading those pictures and videos using our hashtags, tagging us across the different social media platforms, and also letting people know that they can still come to Sente conference. They can still come and listen to some of the amazing panel discussions we're going to have. There's going to be shopping at the exhibition area, and of course, networking. It's truly a movement and it's a community. So I'll give maybe 3 more minutes. I see more people are coming in. This is a good time to bring out your mobile phone, put on silent or vibrate mode. The last thing we will want is for any ringtone to go off. No matter how trendy it is, even if it's by your favorite artist, please, we don't want any ringtones going off during any of the presentations happening here today. So please, let's just ensure that all our phones, our gadgets, tablets, laptops, they're all on silent or vibrate mode. We also encourage everyone to keep their belongings close to them at all times. Please keep your bags, your personal effects, your mobile phones, tablets, gadgets, keep them on your person at all times. Do not leave them unattended to. Please, please, please. For the restroom, if you look to my right, just where we have the security personnel, we have ushers that can direct you. It also serves as one of the emergency exits. And also to my left, you can see where the security personnel is. That will also serve as one of the emergency exits. And we all came in through the center. That's also an emergency exit. So if you do hear a fire alarm, we know we won't hear that, but in case of any emergencies, we would all need to evacuate. And we do have the ambulance on standby. So in case you have a personal emergency, which we don't pray for, just know that you are well taken care of. No matter what happens, we have medical personnel here that can attend to you. So those are just some of the housekeeping before we start. I do hope by this time everybody's phone is on silent, vibrate mode. You're all posting your pictures and videos. You're tagging us, and the energy is rising. You know, when I greeted you earlier on, I said that was the rehearsal. So I think by the time I greet you again, specially, in fact, everyone around us in Oniro will know that something is happening here at Red Carpet Hall. So, delegates of Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair, good morning! Woo! Give yourselves a warm round of applause. Energy, energy. I thought Mr. DJ would have given me like some music. Okay, Mr. DJ is still booting, but you give me energy, oh, energy. Yeah, so you might be wondering, what is Sente all about? Sente stands for Special Education Needs and Therapy Empowerment. It's a conference and it's also a trade fair. So you get to listen to amazing speakers who have the expertise, the experience, the resources, but then you also get to visit the exhibition area and shop. So at some point we'll have an official ribbon cutting ceremony where we can now all go to the exhibition area. So I'll just quickly run through the agenda so that you know why you have to stay here from the beginning all the way to the end. Of course, we have panel discussions that will look at supporting emotional and mental health in the child and family. We also have a panel discussion that will help you when it comes to choosing the right school, the right healthcare providers, the right hospitals, the right therapists. We also have another session that will look at practical tips for daily living, whether it's eating, communicating, going to the toilet, sleeping, routines. And then our final panel session will look at estate planning. A lot of us don't like to talk about death, but death is a debt we all owe. One day we will leave this place, and we never know which day it will be. And we want to know that should we leave prematurely, the people we love are well taken care of, they're well provided for. So there will be a panel session on that. And then we'll also have a short presentation on the value of play in the development of a child with special needs. Throughout this event, you have the opportunity to ask questions. So every panel discussion, you'll have that chance to put up your hand, get the microphone, and ask questions. Please use this opportunity wisely. And once we're done, we'll have Q&A, networking, and as I mentioned earlier, after the first panel session, we'll have the ribbon cutting, and we'll encourage everyone to shop at the exhibition area. So I believe we're all settled now, and I'd just like to officially and formally welcome you to Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. Those of you who have joined us physically and those joining us virtually via the live stream, it's truly an honor to stand before you this morning as the compare. My name is Isabella Adediji. I'll be wearing two hats, compare and moderator for 3 of the 4 panel sessions we'll be having today. I just want us to really applaud the organizers of Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. I don't know about you, but you come to a conference, everywhere is looking good. You have refreshments, you have the best of the best, the creme de la creme when it comes to special needs when it comes to healthcare, legal care, educational facilities, and they're here, and this is happening free of charge. So I don't know who that applause was for. Maybe you were applauding me as the MC. But if you're grateful, if you are appreciative of this opportunity, I think you will give the organizers a warmer round of applause. Thank you. We also have our headline sponsor, Rima Murray. Woo! And we have our gold sponsors. We have Oak Legal, Sunlink Energies, and Akabogu Law. A warm round of applause for our gold sponsors. And our associate sponsor, Meristem Trustees Limited. Woo! Energy, 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 energy. All right, so to officially begin, we'd like for everyone to be on their feet as we take the national anthem. Please, can we limit movement at this point? Even our content creators, just find a place, take your position. You may all be seated. I think we have a good mix of the Arizo compatriots, but I still saw some people singing, at least the first stanza of Nigeria, We Hail Thee. Maybe we'll make you do the pledge. At least we all know that one. Again, I've seen more people come into the room. Welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us at Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. For those of you who have just joined us, we're delighted to have you here. Would like you to put your phones on silent mode, and when you are posting your pictures and videos, please use our hashtag Sente 2025, and do find us across the different social media platforms. On Instagram and TikTok, it's Sente NIG, and on X, it's Sente Nigeria, which is also the streaming handle of our YouTube channel, and on Facebook, it's Sente 2025. So we're hoping that you will flood the internet, you flood the timelines, will make it go viral. Who says that we can't go viral for important issues like this? Again, for those of you who are wondering what Sente stands for, it's Special Educational Needs and Therapy Empowerment. It's a conference, it's a trade fair, but more importantly, it's a movement, it's community. And this is the conference that you leave with practical tips. It is not aspire to respire to expire. It is not definitions and theory. It is practical, and we just hope that you would ask questions when you do have the opportunities. You will network, you will shop, and you will show up fully throughout this conference. Now, to set the tone and to give us an overview of what to expect, and also the reason behind Sente 2025 conference and trade fair. I want us to put our phones aside because sometimes our phones can be distracting us. I want us to bring out our arms, maybe your hand is in your bag, it's in your pocket, because the round of applause I want, it's the thundering kind of round of applause, is the earth-shaking kind of round of applause, is the warmest round of applause, because we're here for free. But trust me, a lot has gone in blood, sweat, and tears. So as I invite the convener, I want us to show how appreciative we are through our applause. Please give it up with a resounding, warm round of applause for the convener of Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. And I dare say she's looking good. Is she not looking good? No, we can't let this outfit waste. DJ, can your convener ever please give it up for Mrs. Moody Nwachukwu?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the press. I would like to formally welcome you to Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. I must first thank you all for accepting our invitation and making the decision to be part of this very unique event. My name is Moody Nwachukwu. Some of you may already know me as the founder of Rimamori. Do we have any Rimamori people in the house? Rimamori is an organization dedicated to helping all children, neurodivergent and neurotypical, with or without additional needs, achieve their full potential with the right resources. As far as I am concerned, everybody at some point in time in their lives will need additional help. And this is what special additional needs is all about. Just getting that little bit of extra help, be it glasses or walking stick as age comes on. Sente was born out of a 5-minute conversation a few years ago. Rimamori had a stand at a special needs conference, and I started a conversation with a lady who had come to look at our resources. She was very pleased and excited to see that we had some of these resources in Nigeria. As she was about to leave, while looking at our resources, she sighed deeply. I asked her whether everything was all right. She said something that I have never forgotten. She said, and I quote, "All this is very nice, but I still don't know how I'm going to help my child sleep tonight. I don't know what to do." So just dwell with me on that. She had spent hours at a conference. She'd been shown slides, statistics, pages, definitions, all sorts of stuff. The government must do this, the government must do that. But at the end of the day, she was going home and she was no better off than when she left her house that morning. I heard and felt the despair in her voice. It is all well and good to be told about symptoms and statistics, awareness and advocacy. But deep down, those aren't the questions a parent who gets dressed to attend these events is seeking the answers to. They are helpful, but those aren't the questions. There and then, the idea behind everything you will see today began to germinate. an event where practical questions are asked and answers are given. You will see that run through all 4 panel sessions that we're having today. From practical care, nutrition. What will my child eat to thrive? Toilet training. How do I take care of this precious child? And when you have done all that and you're ready for the child to go out, the next set of questions to be asked are, who are the right hands to entrust my precious child to? This could be a school or a therapist. What makes a school truly inclusive? Will my child benefit from being at that school? Mr. Therapist, you want to work with my child. What do I need to ask or know to make sure that you are the right person to help my child thrive? What will you do to help my child reach their fullest potential? All these can only be achieved when a parent is mentally and emotionally equipped to carry on with this journey. And make no mistake, it is an arduous journey. A lot of questions come to the minds of these parents. Is it my fault? Is it my spouse's fault? And so you see marriages break down. You see families split. There's abuse, there's neglect, and so many other unpalatable things. Questions also arise from external situations. When your child is not invited to that birthday party, the looks you receive when out in public, people asking whether you didn't pray enough, or telling you to pray even more, as if you're not praying already. All these take a toll on the mind and spirit of a parent caring for a child with additional needs. So it was very important to me that the mental health of the parent who is carrying this load is addressed. How can they stay positive? It is not just the words. Some people are literally dying inside, depressed, ostracized, or at best offered empty words of comfort. It is well. What are the tools to help parents become the best versions of themselves? Not only for themselves, but for their children. To become advocates for your child, because trust me, no one can fight harder for your child than you. And after doing all this, and it is no longer within your power to continue, what can you put in place to ensure that your child is safe, that your child is loved and well taken care of? Estate planning is so important. Recent events in Nigeria today have reinforced the need to ensure that adequate provisions should be made for all children, not only children with additional needs, but all children, because you just never know what is lurking around the corner. You have to put provisions in place to ensure that they are properly taken care of in the manner you would want, especially when they are vulnerable. Today, we seek to answer these questions. Not only answer the questions, but to provide real resources that help bring about solutions and improvements. So alongside the conversations, there will be a trade fair where parents can easily go out and find things that they're looking for. Service providers, actual resources, supplements, things that they have been looking for, so that they leave not only equipped with knowledge, but with resources. For policymakers, institutions, service and product providers, to meet their clients face to face and understand what they truly need. Not what they think they need, but what they truly need. You get to talk to them, engage with your clients and say, what can I do for you? What makes sense? We don't promise to have all the answers. If someone had all the answers, this hall would be empty. We wouldn't have no reason to be here. But the ones we have, we will share. And while we're still searching for those answers, it is important to know that there is a community of people experiencing what you are experiencing. They are learning to share that knowledge. People ahead of you, or people coming or behind you to let you know that you are not alone. It is not your fault. These children are here, and not only are they here, but they will thrive, and they will be the very best that they can be. I have told all my speakers that this is a conference for action, not too much talk, and I intend to be a woman of my word. So that's enough for me. The talk is done. Once again, thank you all for being here.
Don't sleep, wake up.
Welcome to Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair.
DJ is now in the mood, right? I think we can bear us small, eh? We're ready for action. What says action than a little quick dance? Let's move our bodies. DJ, drop it like it's hot. Let's get on our feet. Hey! If the person sitting down next to you is still sitting down, you just tell them you're wrong. In Sente, it's action. Hey!
When I land softly on the sofa.
Hey!
So good.
Let me see you go lo lo lo. Let me see you go lo lo lo. You're not bugaing. Go lo lo lo. Let me see you go lo lo lo. Give yourselves a warm round of applause. Thank you, Mr. DJ. Yes, it's action, action. Just before I bring our panelists up, there was something our convener said, if you are paying attention. Additional needs. Sometimes when we think about special needs, we immediately think autism, cerebral palsy, we think Down syndrome. But a lot of us here have additional needs. I'm wearing glasses. Some of you are wearing glasses. And if you think about it, probably before you started wearing glasses, you were in the class, you were squinting. Friends would have made fun of you. Some people say, why are you doing your eyes like that? You cannot see. Blind Bartimaeus. And it goes on and on. But over time, because there's a lot of knowledge around it, because there are solutions around it, we wear glasses and it's socially accepted. In fact, some people wear commended because they also want to wear glasses. But it's an additional need for us to be able to see clearly, to be able to see short and long distances. We need that additional help because of that need. So I want us to begin to rethink the way we look at special needs. There are additional needs, right? And as long as there's care, there's help, there's solutions, then over time, society will catch up and it will become mainstream. As we're watching movies, it won't be strange to see people wearing glasses. The same way it won't be strange to see people who are living with additional needs or special needs, as long as we can begin to mainstream that conversation. So this is not a place for taboo. This is a place to get real. This is a place to be vulnerable. It's a safe space. And we want you to fully engage. We want you to listen actively. You can leave that WhatsApp for a while. You can leave Instagram for a while. We want you to be fully involved. Ask questions, engage, and visit the stands. Because whether or not we like it, all of us here have additional needs. And as long as we can get the right care and a warm community, then we're good. So I hope we're going to be fully involved today at this conference. I'm really excited about the panel discussions. The first panel will look at navigating, supporting emotional and mental health in the child and the family. Just like our convener said, it takes a toll on families, the mental health, the emotional health. Sometimes we have abuse, we have marriages break down because there are no solutions and you feel alone. So how do you support emotionally? How do you support mentally? Not just the child, but the entire family. Because if you're a united front, you can face the world and you can bring about that needed change in how we understand, we mainstream, and we also tell people about people living with special needs. To lead this panel, it gives me great joy to invite our moderator for this panel. When you say someone is seasoned, it is not, I heard, this is what I heard at a conference. It is not, theory. It is someone who has the experience. Not just the experience practically, but the experience by studying. And she has taken it upon herself to also be an advocate, to go back to school, to learn, to get the necessary qualifications. So whatever you're hearing is backed by science. So just take it. Know that you're in good hands. So I'd love you to put your hands together for an inspiring leader and advocate in the world of autism and special needs support, the wonderful Sholakwe Azazi. Please make her feel welcome. She's qualified, she's certified, she empowers families and caregivers. So that's true. Thank you, Mr. DJ. So she will be moderating this very important conversation. Also joining her, our panelist, is an experienced consultant, clinical psychologist. He's a qualified behavior analyst in learning and neurodevelopment. So when it comes to mental health, which has become the buzzword, online, you have somebody who has the experience. He's a mental health practitioner, and he's skilled in clinical evaluation, diagnosis, and management of development disorders. So I'd love you to just show that appreciation as he makes his way to the stage. I know Mr. DJ is going to give us some good music. Mr. Benedict Osama. We're happy, aren't we? Where's your happy dance? Hey, yes. Thank you very much. If you notice, all the Sente colors are happy colors. I mean, pink, blue, yellow. There's no morbidity here. There's no dullness here. Action, and there's a lot of life and colors. So I'll invite our final panelist who will be joining us for this session. She is the founder of Diary of a Special Needs Mom initiative under P413 Foundation. But that's not all. She's a lawyer, she's a storyteller, a disability inclusion and inclusive education advocate. She knows the talk, she knows the law. That applause, I don't know who it was for. I've not even finished her bio, but you're already feeling it, right? She is a neuro-linguistics programming NLP practitioner and a trauma care coach. Time won't permit me to read the extensive bios of our panelists and moderator, but I always make it a point to read something so that when you're listening to the conversation, you're able to follow along actively and you're able to ask the right questions, just knowing the expertise that is here on stage. So if you're ready to learn how to support emotional and mental health in the child and family, I would like you to give a warm round of applause for our panelists and our moderator as I hand over.
Thank you so much. Just one more panelist is coming on. We skipped Mr. Yinka Ogumbi.
Thank you very much. So that's why there's an extra seat next to you. So our final panelist, beg your apologies. We're glad that people could join us, even though it's not here on the flyer, but they believe in what we're doing here at the Sente conference and trade fair. So we're lucky to have their expertise. Our final panelist is a finance professional, so money, with extensive experience in corporate treasury and finance, spanning not 10 years, not 20 years, but 26 years. And he has implementation experience in treasury management systems across Africa. So when it comes to the TMS systems that we enjoy in Nigerian banks, as far back as 2004, he was implementing it. So I just want you to know that this person comes with experience because he has worked as the head of treasury, project support and training for the CFAO group in the Anglophone countries: Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe. He has an impressive bio. So I'd love you to applaud him as he makes his way to the stage. He's also an accomplished author of the book, Honey, Is It in the Budget? And he has created tools that have helped several families to have the right mindset required for optimal management of their personal and family finances. And we can all do with it with the economy. If you know you need help with your finances, I think all hands will go up, right? How we can manage that money and stretch it. So we're glad to have you, sir. And we'll have about 40 minutes for this panel, which is inclusive of the time for questions.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Put some ginger in it now. Let's try it again. One more time. Good morning, everyone. Now we are talking. Okay, so we've been introduced and we'll just dive right into this panel session. I'll start by posing a question to us, or a statement more like, raising a child with special needs is a journey of love, resilience, and let's be honest, there's some tough days and, there's some happy days too. But what happens when the emotional toll starts to weigh heavy, not just on the child, but the entire family? Today, we're getting real about mental and emotional health, the struggles, the triumph, and the practical steps families can take to thrive and not just to survive. So there's a difference between surviving and thriving, and we want to make sure that the family thrives. So that's why we're here. It's going to be very practical. This panel will do justice to that, I'm sure, and we're going to give room for questions. So let's dive in. I'm going to ask a quick icebreaker, and this is posed for everybody. So you take your turn to answer it, just to loosen up. If you could give just one piece of advice to a family struggling with emotional or mental health challenges right now, what would it be? Mr. Osama, start with you. If you could give just one piece of advice to a family struggling with emotional or mental health challenges right now, what will it be?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. It's on, right? All right, thank you so much. Yes, my piece of advice will be, you are not alone. I mean, to be sincere, right? As a professional out there who works in a clinic with different individuals, it's just to encourage and tell you that you are not alone there, right? There's what we call grit. Grit. I will just tell them, there is nobody on earth who does not need to develop that capacity, right? Irrespective of your profession, your field, you just have to be tenacious.
Tenacious.
Yes, be tenacious. You are not alone there. Everybody is going through one thing or the other, including me, your clinical psychologist. We just
Interesting.
all have to be tenacious. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. So, grit, tenacious, you're not alone.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello? Okay, it works. I think you stole my tip
Thunder.
because that was exactly what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that I think the first thing parents must know is that there's a community of people who are there to help you. And this is very important because the first thing that parents feel is that they are the only ones experiencing that problem. And that's why their first instinct is to go inside, hide the child, do all those things because they feel that nobody understands. But know that there is a community, and I stress that, that is out there struggling with the same things, trying to figure out how to like make this child sleep or make this child just calm down, and all you need to do is reach out because the challenge a lot of people have is just that challenge of accepting that something is wrong and they can reach out. So all you need to do is reach out. And if you reach out to that community, they will come around you, they will hug you, they will take the child from you, they will give you the tips that you need.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So, reach out to the community. You're not alone. Again, re-emphasizing that you're not alone. Bukola.
Shalakwe, one advice can never, ever be enough for a mother of a child with special needs. But since you said one advice, I will say to the person, seek help.
Yeah.
So help is going to come in different ways. Through a counselor, through a family member that understands you, gets you. And in Nigeria, and anything I say here is not just for Nigeria alone. If you've been to other African countries, whatever happens in Nigeria is happening in Ghana, is happening all over. So we are religious beings. So whoever can listen to you, who gets you, it could be a special needs coach, speak to someone and seek help. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bukola. Yes, seek help. Help is very important because a lot of times you think you're alone or you think you don't need that help, and seriously, you need sometimes to bounce it off a proper counselor, a certified counselor, because a lot of times we say to ourselves, oh, I've spoken to someone, but if he's not certified, he won't give you that help that would really address the need that you're trying to address. Okay, quickly, going back to you, Mr. Osama. So we're going to try to understand the emotional and health needs of the children because, again, that's your field. So I want you to, break something down for us. But in all of it, I want you to share techniques that parents can use at home when they are in that space of emotional turmoil or, speaking to them.
For parent, right? Or for children?
Well, they always say that you can't give from an empty cup. And as a parent, if you don't have it, you can't help your child. So again, I'm saying for parents, because if we don't address the parental need, how do we start to address the child's emotional and well-being?
Okay, thank you. I want to just briefly talk about what is emotional health. What is emotional health or mental health, right? According to WHO, mental health simply means that you are able to be productive, right? You can take care of yourself and your children. You can contribute to your community. So it doesn't really mean that, emotional health is or somebody who is out there walking naked, right? If you're not able to walk functionally, you can't contribute to your environment, you can't help yourself, you can't help someone else. right, then you may need to seek some help. Now, how do you help? As a father, as a mother, or let me say, as a family, right? We've talked about just a bit of them, but there's always something I've heard from all my parents over the years when they come to the clinic for all that. And that is the fact that some of our parents believe that they are not doing enough for the kids. So there is that sense of guilt and regret that it seems I just feel I'm not doing enough. Maybe there's something I need to do differently, right? But you've got to tell yourself, if you are here as a parent, right? You know you've taken certain steps. You've got to remind and tell yourself that, yes, I am trying. Right? You've got to remind yourself that I'm doing all I could within my capacity. There are certain things that are beyond your control, right? That's there. You've got to remind yourself and tell yourself again and again, I am doing something. I may not be there yet, right? But I am moving. That's very important so that you don't continue to live in that sense of regret. You are doing something. You are not to live in that sense of regret or that you've not done everything possible. Yeah, the child may not be where he wants to be now, but it doesn't mean that you've not done something. That you are where you are now means that you have taken a step. So you are doing something, right? Celebrate that win. Celebrate that little effort you are putting in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Osama. Okay, so I remember that when we first came into this journey, or rather when I first started properly advocating for my child's needs, and I was in that regret state that you just said, because I said to myself, oh, I should have, I would have, maybe I should have done this, maybe, oh, why did I do this and everything. And I remember that someone, a mentor then pulled me aside and said something. She said the Igbo, there's an Igbo adage, but I don't know how to translate. I mean, she translated it in English, and she said that your morning is when you wake up. So for me, this is my own morning. Now I'm awake. What do I want to do next? And I've held on to that since then. And I have realized that it has helped me to be present in every situation. Because I tell parents, it's not enough to, you have to be present. Emotionally, physically, mentally, you have to be present. It is until you're present that you can start to give that support or that well-being that you want to translate in your family. Okay, moving on to Bukola. So Bukola, you spoke about community of people, you spoke about seeking help. So this question is for you, the mental load of caregiving, supporting parents and siblings within the family. There's caregiver burnout is real. So I want you to briefly touch on what the signs are, because sometimes we as parents don't even realize that we're burning out until it's too late. And how can we as caregivers, parents, prioritize mental health without feeling guilty?
Okay, so let me just start by giving a brief introduction about who I am so that you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
So my daughter, Oluwalonibi, she has cerebral palsy, and she's a level 5. So if 1 is least affected, 5 is most affected, she's a 5. And about 12 years ago, when I got that diagnosis, of course, I was devastated. I mean, my husband and I, we were devastated. And since then, it's been a journey of healing, learning, processing. And like Sholakwe said, in my own case, what really helped me, because I want to start from there for some parents that are here, because I've had questions of how do I get from the denial stage, the grieving stage. So first for me was denial. And I was, based on my own story, which our stories will be unique, right? I was more of enemy focused. Hey, my enemies have done this one, oh. And I was just jumping from one church to another church, looking for solution. And I kept asking questions, the usual questions, why me? I'm a believer. I pay my tithes. I'm a worker in church. What sin have I committed, for me to be here? So, from that stage, for my own personal experience, it was a near accident that shook me, reset my brain, and I sat down and began to ask pertinent questions. What am I looking for? Because what I was looking for was a cure. But as a person of faith, so pardon me, I'm a person of faith, I handed over my daughter to God and I said, I'm going to be calm. I'm going to be still. And I'm going to hand her over to you. I'm not going to jump anywhere. So with that, I settled down, and started the healing process. Because while you're trying to get a cure, you don't even know your child. You don't even know what the child is, what the child is not, right? So that process got me on my healing journey. And what has helped me, back to the question, as a caregiver, is understanding that I can't do this alone. Right? So, for me, I would say I'm blessed with a supporting spouse, because that is your number one support system. I had to build a support system. That's what has worked for me. Some mothers will say, oh, I can't trust a caregiver with my child. Honestly, when you have a child that has cerebral palsy and the 4 limbs are affected, you can't keep doing this all the time. So let's go back to trauma. When you say, oh, you're experiencing trauma and all that, trauma, would show in the emotional and the mental state, but it is also going to show in your physical body. When a woman is having pains, and my neck is paining me, my back is aching me, I'm not sleeping well, those are signs of stress. Those are signs of trauma. So I always tell special needs moms, that what are the things you can do? At that initial stage, affirmations will not help you, because you are not even grounded enough to start saying, I'm blessed, my child is blessed. Things that have helped me, things I have done, core exercise, as in exercise that you'll be sweating. Things like boxing, things like running, things that you can sweat. That's one. Then, because I'm a writer, I journal. Now, if you don't have that gift of writing out to express what is in your mind as it is, then you can speak those things out. You can speak to a therapist, a special needs coach, but it has to be someone that understands your journey, what you're going through. You will get a community, and it's not just any kind of community. Not communities that you go and re-traumatize yourself all over again. It has to be a community that would help your healing process. Shall I put? Do I still have them?
No, you don't.
All right, let me stop here.
Thank you. Okay. I know. All right. So, thank you so much, Bukola. We would, have time for question and answer. And like Moody rightly said, we still have time for networking. So people that still want to follow up with some of the conversations that I actually cut off can come over to her and ask all of those questions, and I'm sure she will give you everything you need. All right. So quickly, Yinka, they didn't get the chance to tell us how you are, interwoven with the special needs community. That's one. So I would like you to shortly, quickly touch on that. Wait, hold on. And then I also know that you work, you're on the board of a lot of non-profits. I want you to answer this question, It's about advocacy and breaking the stigma around, again, we're still talking about mental health and emotional well-being. So talk about it based on your experience with the non-profits you've worked on and based on your personal work. Make it practical, make it accessible, make it short and quick.
Okay, thank you. So, what's my story? I'm a parent. I'm a parent of special needs child. And we found this out about 15 years ago. Our son, our only son, started to demonstrate this behaviors that we couldn't understand. Very hyperactive, self-harming, and it wasn't verbal. So the first reaction was like she said, to deny and say, okay, this doesn't exist and all that, and believe that somehow there was some miraculous cure to what was going on. But along the line, we came to that point of realizing that something was wrong. And I think that that's where every parent gets to, when you just get to that point to know something is wrong and you permit yourself to do something about it. And we permitted ourselves to say, okay, we're going to do something about it. And we started that journey in 2000, and this was 2010, I believe. We started that journey, and we came across Dr. Dotun Wakonde at that time, who understood what we were going through. And like she said, we were people of faith. And so we needed someone who understood that this was not just a mental health issue for us, it was also a faith issue. And she understood that, and she helped us through that process. In 2017, I then came out publicly. So that was the first time I came out publicly and I spoke about my child's autism. And a lot of people were shocked because they felt that they didn't know that we were going through that at that time. And in doing that, it kind of it caught the media, and then a lot of media organizations came to ask questions because I was talking about him and how much that he had progressed. Now, it is my experience in handling that aspect of it that made me go into the advocacy of it, and that's where I will connect it. Now, we started my son's name is Daniel. We started his therapy sometime in 2010. He didn't have any speech. He had this, so we're doing ABA. I'm sure you understand the term, so I don't have to explain that. We started ABA, and then we started his speech therapy. And as at that time, it was costing us something in the neighborhood, in a year, it was costing us somewhere in the neighborhood of about ₦1 million. And we had to we had to dedicate a car, a driver to the child. It was nearly going to bankrupt us. Now, I could afford it, but then it nearly bankrupted me. But I could afford it. And we gave our child the best care that we can, and the child is good for it. So I started asking myself the question, what of those who can't afford it? What of those who can afford to pay the cost of those therapists? And they don't come cheap. What do we do about trying to help parents who can't understand what they need to do, and then eventually when they understand, they are told that, sorry, you can't afford it, and so you just have to take your child away, and whatever happens to him, happens to him. What happens is that those parents take their children to spiritual homes and they do more harm. So I started to advocate, and I said that, look, there are some things that we need to do, and this will bring me to talk about not just the government. And the government is the easy one for everybody to talk about. Oh, government needs to do this, government needs to do that. And I agree that government needs to have inclusive schools. Government needs to have in schools, make sure that they have teachers who understand how to handle special needs children. But I am particular about the private sector, because the private sector has a lot more opportunity to do this. That the way they can help is to support a lot of training around the whole special needs and specialists and therapists. Because if they're able to sponsor or grant scholarships for this training or this capacity, it makes for the intervention of these specialists when they are working on other children, it makes them cheaper. So that they don't have to charge people at very, it's expensive right now to get those skills.
Yeah.
And so if it costs me a lot of money to get the skills, and you're asking me to do it for free, it doesn't make sense. It's like asking a doctor after having gone to 7 years. Is it 7 years? Or more, and it costs you a lot to be a doctor, and somebody says, come and do it pro bono. No. So, but if you are able to subsidize that cost in a way that makes it cheaper for people to go and do that course, go and do the trainings, get the certifications, they are able to then offer those services at cheaper rates to parents who can't afford it. And then also, corporate entities being able to provide scholarships and training centers. So that's what I've been working on, over the last few years. And I appeal, especially to corporate entities to support this.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. So I'm going to open up the floor, and we're going to take a couple of questions. Anyone that wants to start off with a question, please, hands up. Any question? Any question for any of the panelists? It doesn't have to be anything that we just spoke about. It could just be you want to follow up on. Oh, do you want to write it down? But then we're supposed to take questions within our session. Yes, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
My name is Glory Moisili, and I've been working with children for over 20 years now. And in my practice, I've come across a lot of children. Unknowingly, I remember the first time I had an encounter with an autistic child. I didn't know. No, as a class teacher, as a Montessori trained class teacher, I was in the class, and at the end of the section, I was giving my report. There was a particular boy that caught my attention, and I gave a report concerning him. His name was Ebuka, and when I submitted that report, it caught the attention of the owner of the school. So she called me and like, this particular report you have given about this child, because I realized that that child was always isolated, he wouldn't mix with other kids, he was always on the screen. What I saw was what I wrote down. So I never knew that these are symptoms of an autistic child. So we called, they called the parents. That was far back, over 15 years back now. So they called the parents, and immediately they called the parent. The woman was panicking, like, what is it? She came to me like, what did you see? What happened? I said, I don't know. Meet the owner of the school. So when she met the owner of the school, she narrated her ordeal. Apparently, she had had several cases of children like that. And
your question?
Yes, my question now is this, the inclusion of those kids. Because working in different schools, I realized that some schools don't really want to absorb this kind of children in their midst. Probably because, one, they feel they don't have enough knowledge, one. Then two, they feel they don't have the instruments. So how do we pass this across to schools? There are a lot of schools in Lagos State all over. And within these schools, we have a lot of children with disabilities. And most cases, their class teachers just see these children on a daily basis, flog hell out of them, not knowing that these are disabilities that could be attended to. So there's a whole lot of, how do we go further in the advocacy of inclusion in so many schools around us? This is my question.
Thank you. So I will let Bukola answer the question, but I would also try to tell you one thing that you said towards the end, advocacy. It starts with you and I. Advocacy, it's an action word. It's, I am advocating and spreading the word and yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
Someone said I should take all the questions first. I'll write it out. Yeah, we have people raising their hands.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Chike Mukocha. My question would have been directed to the finance guru, but since it's a panelist arrangement, I don't know who answers it.
So go ahead, just ask.
Yeah, given what you have been told about taking children with special needs to prayer houses, the health implication of taking them to prayer houses, and in a situation, bearing the present economic situation, in a situation a parent does not have sufficient money to take the child with special need to a special school, what happens? What's the fate of that child? You don't have money to take the child to a special school, and bearing the situation, the bad situation of taking the child to a prayer house, what happens to the child? Shall the child resign to fate?
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll take another question, but while they're getting to the person, I'll quickly tell you one thing. We're going to have a panel discussion that is going to address that particular question properly. So we'll answer it on the surface. Please hang on. Another panel will come on, and then they will delve properly into your question. Okay? All right, thank you. Next person, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My own name is Mrs. Kadri Fatima. I'm the co-founder of Art and Soul Center for Children Living with Special Needs, Iworo Ibadan. So my own question is, being a Montessorian for years, I've worked with children using the Montessori methodology of childhood education. And I've seen that it helps a lot of them develop and became who I wanted them to become.
Okay,
because
question.
Montessori is a special method. Now, the resources are available, but we need more of it. So I want to ask if, as a body, we can have maybe get Montessori materials for these children at a cheaper rate, because it's too expensive. And anytime I use them, some of them get destroyed, and I have to replace. But I want to use this opportunity to ask if we can get it cheaper at affordable prices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So your question is about funding. So we have advocacy, we have funding, and we have where to go to in terms of resources, or where to go to when you don't have the resources to put them in school. Okay, great. So, okay, one more question, and then 1 minute each for each person. Pick whichever one you want to respond to quickly. So, madam.
Okay.
Oh. Ma, can you write your question down? Write it down, and then we'll network later. Everybody put your questions down. Write it. I'll collect it.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Folashade Agbonedeso. Okay, my question is this. I have a nephew that is autistic. Initially, the mother and father my sister didn't want to accept it. So it became bad behaviorally. It was very bad. And then she ended up going to churches, from churches to churches, all about. But presently, as of last year, she took the child to psychiatric home, Arrow, in Abeokuta. He doesn't stay there, but he's undergoing therapy.
Question.
Of different stage. Now, I want to ask, at the psychiatric home, can they actually attend to his need? Can they help? And my second question, I notice children with special need, they come with something special with them. This my nephew naturally can drum. He plays the piano without
Question.
being taught.
I'm looking at my time.
And I want to know, does it include it? He plays piano, he plays drum, and he teaches, and he doesn't learn. Does it come with it, or it's just like that?
Okay. All right. So. Okay.
Good morning, Hall. My name is Shola Oye Kunle. I am an hearing impaired. I am working with Lagos State government at Ikorodu Primary School, inclusive. We have many, many special need children in our school. I know how to teach many special needs students with different methodology. Even how to teach them how to read, because I have talked before I became deaf. I can hear before. My child is also a special need person. I have deaf son that is in my school too. The problem we have in our school is to teach them, we don't have more instructional materials. Many materials we need to make things easier for the special needs students.
Yeah.
We don't have more teachers. We will be happy if you can help us with volunteer special teacher and that can work with us. Or with, if NGO can help us with resources and special teachers so that the students will not just be there and will be overburdened.
Thank you very much. Okay, take all the advocacy questions and then the funding questions to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
We have less than 1 minute
So
now.
for the woman, I'm a mother of a child with special needs, and through my drive and asking questions, I started advocating, right? You are a teacher. Don't wait for the government. Don't wait for anybody. Where you are, you can advocate. And people are doing different things. So all you have to do is to connect. Like Toby Lover is into teaching teachers, mainstreaming children with cerebral palsy. Sholakpa is doing one. I'm also doing different. So there are different people doing advocacy. Connect, send an email. What we can do, we can partner and do things to advocate in inclusive education, speaking to teachers. Secondly, the man said, oh, I can't go to church, I can't afford special needs school. Like he has said, Lagos State, they have more than, in all the local governments in Lagos, they have 36 inclusive units. They are not properly inclusive education, you know, but they have classrooms within the mainstream schools for persons with disabilities. So please look into that. Then join a special needs community. Thank you.
All right. Do you want?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So let me speak quickly to the funding thing. Now, there are no easy solutions, and I will be the last person that will come here to tell you that there's some way to do it. But you see, this conference is part of that solution, because this conference is bringing people together to talk about this. I'll ask you a question. 2 decades ago, HIV/AIDS, about 3 decades ago, HIV/AIDS was a big deal, right? It's no longer. Nobody talks about it. You know why? Because the world came together, saw it as a problem, put funding into it, and eradicated it. The reality today is that we have not advocated enough how big this issue is. And that lady and that gentleman who talked about the fact that we have a lot of special needs children in school, discovered not by the parents, but by teachers. You understand? So we need to make a lot of noise. We need to advocate. The community needs to join us together. It needs to get voices, influences in the political space, in the private space, come back together and say, this is a big issue. We need funding. And we can get funding from international agents, from local agents, from private sector people, and make sure that these children get the kind of resources they need, funded by big players. Bill Gates is putting money into malaria. It's solving a lot of problems. There's no reason why we cannot galvanize support all over the world to fund this, because it's a big problem.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, let me quickly talk about the psychiatric case. I am in the field, but I can tell you that the first step is non-psychiatric, to be sincere. And then if you are a parent here, and the first thing you want to think about is taking them to psychiatry, I can tell you it's more than that. Psychiatry comes after you've tried behavioral therapy, you've tried every other approach. Then you can think about psychiatry to address what we call comorbid conditions, which means conditions that come alongside with the autism or the ADHD, like anxiety, depression, psychosis. That's what the psychiatry is meant for. But taking the autistic child to psychiatry centers, they are going to do something. The child will turn into an entirely different thing. I've been there and I know all this, right? The first thing is just go through the proper professionals, the ABA, the occupational therapy, the pediatricians, that will advise better, not the psychiatry. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And our time is up. Just to quickly follow up on what you were saying, I know my organization is doing something with grassroots advocacy. We're going into local government communities and talking directly with the people that are in the grassroots, just to understand and to be able to give them the support at the level they can attain. Yes, that's what we are doing. So there we've talked about the hard stuff and the struggles. What's one step you would take today to prioritize emotional and mental health in your family? That's what I want you to go away with. Although I know we veered away from emotional well-being towards the question and answer section, but I want you to remember that the topic was emotional and well-being of the entire family, and I want you to remember to continue to fill your tank. You can't give what you don't have. Thank you, everyone.
Let's give them another warm round of applause. And continue applauding as I invite the convener, Mrs. Moody Nwachuko, to join them for a group picture. We'll also use that opportunity to present them with our token of appreciation. I want to say a big, big thank you to everyone on this panel, our panelists and our able moderator. We learned about finances. We learned about community. We learned about the health side of things. Truly, it was an enriching panel. Wherever you look, there was something. In fact, we had too many questions, and one of the observations everybody can have a question, and if your question isn't answered, there's the opportunity during the networking to have your question answered. So thank you for sharing that observation. We'll try as much as possible to ensure that everyone has a chance to ask their questions. So my paparazzi, do we have all the photographs, our content creators? Are we okay? Are we happy? We're not. Do you want them to stand again to take pictures? Okay. Okay. If you don't ask, you won't receive, right? It's just like when you're giving care to a child or a ward with special needs. If you don't ask for help, you won't receive help. So sometimes the best thing we can do is to open our mouth and ask questions. In case they needed more time, and they're getting more time. So we hope that you'll use this opportunity wisely. We love that people are already asking questions. More people have joined us, and we're so glad physically and virtually want to welcome you. And we're Adediji, I'm your MC, and I'm also one of the moderators. We just had a panel discussion looking at mental health. We looked at supporting the emotional health of the child and the family. We still have 3 more panel discussions coming. Before we move to the next item on the agenda, for those who have just joined us, would like you to warmly appreciate the organizers. We'll start with our headline sponsor, Rima Mori. So let's give Rima Mori a warm round of applause. We also have our gold sponsors, Oak Legal, Sunlink Energies, and Akabogo Law. Please put your hands together for them. There's a reason why you're at this conference and you're not paying any money. It's not hot. The AC is blowing. There's tea and coffee. Everywhere is well lit. It's lovely. The atmosphere is nice and inviting, and that's why you feel so comfortable and you believe that this is a safe space. We also have our associate sponsor, Mary STEM Trustees Limited. Please put your hands together for them. And then some of you found out about this event on television, some on Instagram, some you were browsing, some in the newspaper, and we have to thank our media partners. We have Business Day, we have TVC News, we have the Punch newspaper, and we have Premium Time. So please let's applaud them for spreading the word, for mainstreaming the conversation on special needs. And then we have our conference and trade fair exhibitors. So the next item of the agenda is the tape cutting, where we officially open the trade fair. So you have about 10-15 minutes to look around, then we come back for another panel discussion before we break for lunch. Then we have 2 more panel discussions and a talk on the role of play. So we want you to pay attention because you're going to be meeting some of these exhibitors once we do the ribbon cutting. We have Rimamori Resources, Akabogo and Associates, Oak Legal, Mary STEM Trustees, Savvy Point, Little Einstein, Nutri Center, Recare Helpmate Services, Patrick Speech and Languages, Omomi Childcare, Punaka Foundation, Clean This, Heal This, Dynalim Technologies, Hale and Hearty, Cradle Lounge Initiative, FOS ABBA Center and Creative Hub, Pleasant Places, Heritage Places, Diary of a Special Needs Mom Initiative. Let's put our hands together for all our exhibitors. So for those of you who have just joined us, to my right is the pathway to the restroom. So during this break, should you need to respond to the call of nature, just to my right, you'll see a door. The security personnel, the ushers are also available to direct you. It also serves as one of our emergency exits. And to my left too, you also have the security personnel manning that door. Should there be an emergency and we need to evacuate, we know we won't have to, but it's important we know that there are 2 doors to the left and the right, and also the central pathway which we all came in through. If for whatever reason you have an emergency, maybe a cut, a headache, something comes up, we have our ambulance on site and you can receive medical care, and all of this is free of charge. So when I ask you to applaud the organizers, when I ask you to make them feel really special, it's because they've gone above and beyond. And another thing you can do is to take pictures, to record videos, flood your stories, flood your timelines, right? Let's get the word out there. Let's use our hashtag Sente2025 and tag the organizers across the different social media platforms. We'll now like to move to the next item, which is the official ribbon cutting, where we launch the trade fair. So this is a conference and a trade fair. So you get to shop, you get to interact and engage with very good and credible resource providers. So we'd like our ushers to direct us. We'll all be going to attend the ribbon cutting. Once we've done the ribbon cutting, you're free to come back into the hall to grab coffee, refreshments. Please don't go. The event is not over. Like I said, we still have panel discussions, we still have lunch, we still have networking and Q&A. So this is just to launch the trade fair. So our ushers will direct us, and we encourage everyone to shop. And that's why I took the time to mention all the different exhibitors that we have here. Just like the convener said, it's not just to learn, but also buy resources to help you on that journey. Thank you. love this DJ, right? It's like, why are we still sitting down? We're supposed to already be stretching. This is the break. So to my left, where you can see the security personnel, you see an usher. Please break.
With special needs thrive. There will be expert sessions from professionals and parents who understand what you're going through.
Remember, we have just over 17 minutes to make our way outside
So don't wait.
so we can witness the official ribbon cutting.
Let's change the narrative together. Have you ever felt lost trying to find the right school for your child? Or wondered how to give them the best care? Maybe you're tired of searching for practical answers and solutions. I get it. This is why Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair is happening on the 27th.
We need more people to go outside so we can do the official ribbon cutting.
You'll find practical tips and strategies to help care for children with special needs. You will also get access to a trade fair packed full with therapy tools, innovative resources, learning materials, and living aids designed to help children with special needs thrive. There will be expert sessions from professionals and parents who understand what you're going through. A community of people just like you, ready to share and support. This is more than a conference. It's a place where your questions will finally get answers.
All right, please let's begin to make our way out of the hall for the official ribbon cutting.
Precious, I always say a prosthetist and orthotist are dental technologies. We specialize in high quality prosthetics and orthotic solutions to enhance mobility and improve lives. We offer a range of essential support devices, including sitting braces, ankle foot orthosis, knee ankle foot orthosis, fuck-up splints, back slab, night splints, and knee braces. Our ankle foot orthosis helps individuals with foot drop to regain confidence in their steps, while our sitting brace ensure proper posture support. Whether for rehabilitation or daily support, we have the perfect solution for you. Visit the Dynamic Technologies booth at the Center 2025 Conference and Trade Fair to see our products in action and to learn how they improve mobility and independence. We look forward to seeing you. Send us a DM for more details. I'm Precious.
Outside, we'll be doing the ribbon cutting in the next 1 minute. So you have less than 60 seconds to make your way outside. To the left of the stage, please use that exit. We'll all meet outside for the official ribbon cutting. We have just over 30 seconds for that.
And tailored to encourage each child's unique learning needs. At Omomi, we provide a safe and stimulating environment for all children, including those with special needs. Our early intervention services are tailored to meet the unique needs of special needs children.
And the trade fair is officially open. Our convener has cut the ribbon. And welcome to Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. We want you to shop till you drop because we have the best of the best here. We have Clean This, Heal This, Hail and Hearty Pharmacy, Akabagu Associates, Rimamori, woo! Patrick Speech and Languages, Dynalim Technology, Diary of a Special Needs Mom. Our exhibitors are waiting for you, eager for you to visit their stands. We have the Heritage Place. We have Panuka Foundation, Cradle Lounge Initiative, Savvy Point, Omami Child Care, Nutri Center. We want you to visit all the stands. We have lots of goodies for you. Are you looking for health products, educational products? Are you looking for resources? They're right here. Legal resources. You have Oak Legal. We have Meristem Trustees, FOS Abba Center and Creative Hub. We have Recare Help Make Services. We have Pleasant Places and Little Einstein. Woo! I love the energy. I love the energy. Of course, we have H Medical in the building. So if you need any healthcare services, any little emergencies, we have our outside. The trade fair of the Sente 2025 conference is officially open. So go round. Do you require legal services? Oak Legal has you covered. We have Akabagu Law. When it comes to pharmaceuticals, we have Hail and Hearty Pharmacy. We also have Recare Health Made Services. We want children who are emotionally well developed who are supported with their education dreams, do visit Little Einstein. You have Clean This, Heal This, Diary of a Special Needs Mom, Dynalim Technologies, Hill and Hearty Family, Ahabagu and Associates, Savvy Points, Nutri Center, Amami Child Care, Cradle Lounge Initiative, Paducah Foundation, the Heritage Place, and not forgetting our very own headline sponsor, Rima Mori Resources. We still have 3 more panel sessions. We have lunch on the agenda. We also have a talk on the role of play. So we just have over 10 minutes now to shop, and then everyone will need to get back into the hall for our next panel discussion. We have lots of coffee and refreshments, so please do find your way to the coffee stand. Happy Coffee is ready to delight you with some hot, yummy cups of coffee. If you haven't had something to drink, I'll advise you to make your way to Happy Coffee. Happy Coffee has their stand to the left of the stage at the back. Please grab a cup of coffee. Feel free to visit our different exhibitors at the stands in the trade fair area. We have exactly 7 minutes, 50 seconds till we all need to be back in the hall for our next panel discussion. Please use this opportunity to stretch, to network, to engage, to ask questions. Some of our former panelists, the panelists from the first panel, are still around and on hand to answer as many questions as you might have. Remember, it's all about empowering caregivers and families of children with special needs. We want you to leave with the right resources, advice, the right information, so you can provide better care to the families with children with special needs. In the same vein, please let's remember to continue posting on our social media platforms. If your phone is not already on silent mode, it will be great to put it on silent mode so you don't forget. Please post the videos, pictures, selfies. We want it to go viral on all the different social media platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to X. Of course, we're live streaming on YouTube, we're on TikTok. So just post and use our hashtag Sente 2025. On Instagram and TikTok, look for at Sente NIG. Sente NIG on Instagram and TikTok. On YouTube, it's Sente Nigeria, and that's the handle for X, formerly Twitter. On Facebook is Sente 2025. Again, Sente stands for Special Educational Needs and Therapy Empowerment. You're still at the Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. We have just over 5 minutes before we move to our second panel discussion. So please begin to make your way back into the hall. We still have time for shopping. We have just about 5 minutes before we start our next panel. Our panelists are here. They're ready. Our moderator is here, ready. So would like for everybody to start to make their way back into the hall. Please start to make your way back to your seats. You just have about 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Please, let's begin to leave the exhibition area. After this panel discussion, we'll have lunch, and that will be a time for more shopping. Our exhibitors are here till the end of the conference at 5 p.m. So if you don't visit a particular stand now, you can still visit them during the lunch break. We still have more time after all our panel sessions, as well as the talk for networking, engagement, questions and answers, and of course, lots of shopping. Ushers, please let's begin to direct people back to their seats. Let's begin to direct them back to the hall. Let's begin to make our way to our seats. If you're in the bathroom, please begin to round off so you can join us. You don't want to miss our next panel session, which looks at something that's very, very important: navigating healthcare and educational systems, how to pick the right healthcare providers and schools. What do you look for when choosing a therapist or a hospital or a school? What are the factors to look for? What are the factors to consider? It's very important that you ask the right questions, that you pay attention to what's most important. We want to arm you with all the information you need when it comes to selecting the right healthcare providers, the right educational providers. You have 3 minutes to make your way back to the hall. Ushers, please ensure people start to take their seats. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Silifat Inosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gem, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal for our children. We also stock a lot of dairy-free products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the name-check protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our gems. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natural, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our stand. Hello everyone, this is Silifa Tinosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gem, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal of our children. We also stock a lot of dairy food products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the Nemcha protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our gems. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natura, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our
Thank you very much. We should all be back in the hall now. We're about to start our second panel session. We'll give 60 more seconds. Our panelists are here, they're waiting. So we'd like you to all settle in, grab your coffee and get back to your seats. We're very big on time. I want to ensure that we have enough time to discuss and to take your questions. Like I mentioned earlier, right after our second panel discussion, we have lunch, and then we have 2 more panel sessions. We have a talk, lots of questions and answers, time to shop, and then we'll bring the event to a close. So please, let's all take our seats. We'll be starting the next panel shortly. And you don't want to miss it, as it looks at navigating healthcare and educational systems, how to pick the right healthcare providers and schools. Please, let's all take our seats so we can move right on ahead with our panel session. Please, let's take our seats. Please, let's take our seats.
And at Tunica Foundation, we have the Child Care Center focused on providing quality care and support for children with neurodiverse conditions such as autism, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome. And so we are focused on making sure that these children are able to integrate back into society with proper care and support that they need. And so we have caregivers, therapists, and other professionals that are dedicated to making this a reality for your child and for every learner that we have at the center. Aside providing quality care and support for children with neurodiverse conditions, we have facilities and equipment to help our therapists meet their needs and goals. We have a sick bay, we have the laundry room, we have the dining hall, we have sensory rooms, we have Olympic classrooms, we also have playgrounds and the chapel. See, all of these things put together help.
Please, let's take our seats.
And the
we really don't want to keep our panelists waiting. We have very important conversations to have.
Inspiring transformative learning process at Tunica Foundation Child Care Center. We also have a hall that we rent out for purposes such as weddings, academic functions, trainings. We'd like you to also visit us and see if this hall is good for you. We'll be live at the Sente Nigeria conference, and we look forward to having you come by our stand to learn more about what we do at Tunica Foundation, especially our Child Care Center. See you on the 27th.
We'll still have more videos play, but please can we just pause so we ensure that everybody takes their seats. I know some of us were busy shopping and didn't know that we have coffee. To my left at the back, we have the team from Happy Coffee. Please go and grab yourself a cup of coffee. Would love you to stay refreshed here at the Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. If you still need to use the bathroom, I'll be generous with my time and give maybe another 5 minutes so that once our panel session starts, you won't be getting up to go to the bathroom and distracting our panelists. So the bathroom is to my right, just to the right of the stage. You'll see the security personnel by the door. Once you exit the door, you'll be led to the bathroom by one of our ushers. Again, the door to the right and to the left and at the center all serve as exit points should there be an emergency and we need to evacuate. Should you require any assistance health-wise, the team from 8 Medical are here. They are just by the entrance. You can see the team there. If you have a little cut, a headache, any little emergency, they can take care of that. We also have an ambulance outside should there be a bigger emergency. So please don't take matters into your hand. Don't play doctor. Don't use Google Doctor, Dr. Google to treat any issues. We have the team from 8 Medical. They're here in the exhibition area just by the entrance. And of course, the ambulance is outside in the car park. Like I said, I'm being very generous during this little break so that you can use the bathroom, so that once we start the panel session, we don't have to be distracted with people getting up and moving around. Again, there'll still be the opportunity to visit the exhibition area. Right after our second panel session, we will have lunch where you can network, where you can shop, where you can meet people, where you can stay refreshed, and we'll have videos that you can also watch if you decide to do all of those and come back to the hall early. Again, we want you to keep posting on our social media platforms. Sente 2025 is the hashtag to use. Sente 2025 is the hashtag to use when posting your pictures, your videos, your selfies. Share our flyers. Let people know they can still come to Red Carpet Hall to be a part of Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. Let people know they can join us via our live stream on YouTube. We're streaming live. It's a free event made possible by our headline sponsor, Rima Mori Resources. Of course, our gold sponsors. We're very grateful for your support. We have Oak Legal, Akabogu Law, Sunlink Energies. We also have our associate sponsor, Meristem Trustees. And we have lots of credible exhibitors who have resources to help your children, your ward, on their special needs journey. So whether it's from a legal aspect, a health aspect, education aspect, advocacy aspect, we have exhibitors who are here on ground to help you, and they have lots of amazing resources you can purchase. Again, the next panel discussion will look at different situations when it comes to picking the right healthcare provider, picking the right school. And I'm so glad that we have educators in the building, we have therapists in the building, we have healthcare professionals We have parents, caregivers to children with special needs and their families. And just listening in on the first panel discussion, there's so much that has been shared. You're not alone. There's a community. There is a community. They talked about grit and being tenacious. I just want to go around the audience to get a feel. Let's see. How much did we learn from the first panel? So I'll just look around, and maybe the person whose makeup is still on fleek, the person that's smiling at me, would share one or two things that they've learned so far.
My name is Mrs. Adebola Olusi. Yeah, I learned a lot here this morning. And what has been part of what we've been doing before, inclusion. When you reach out to people that does not have the knowledge, it makes the advocacy to get enlarged. People continue to know more about it.
Please give a warm round of applause. Woo! Where's the energy? Okay, we're still drinking our coffee, but please let's applaud her. Let's applaud her. She made a very important point about inclusion. And if we all play our part by speaking about it, by being advocates, by mainstreaming this conversation in our families, in our communities, in our workplaces, in our schools, on our social media platforms, then it helps the work that's already being done. So you don't have to explain know what special needs are, what additional needs are, because there's a lot of advocacy work going on. But they can only do so much. So let's take it upon ourselves that we will be advocates, even if we don't have the title. We will take that gospel, that good news of special needs, into the community, into the church, into the mosque, into the workplace, into the schools. We'll take it to Aso Rock. We'll take it to Alausa. We'll take it to Marina. We'll take it everywhere. Just like one of our panelists said, there was a time when it was all about HIV, all about AIDS. In the 90s, we knew how to prevent HIV. We knew the causes. We knew, what solutions were being worked on. But now people don't talk so much about it because people came together. They put their resources, they put their money, their time. They were advocates. And now people who are living with HIV don't have a death sentence. So we can do the same thing for families, for children living with special needs. So I've spoken to a lady. I would like to maybe call on one of the gentlemen. I went to the left, so I'm going to go to the right. And I think I found a gentleman. And I would like you to say your name and tell me something you have learned. He's smiling. I love that smile. And he's doing the right thing. He's about to post the pictures using the hashtag. So I saw him. So your name, what you do, and what you've learned.
Okay. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. My name is Fashoro Godwin. I'm a behavioral therapist. And I'm very glad to attend this conference now because what I learned today, especially in the panel session, because that was my first session, that when you have a child with special needs, you are not alone. There's a community, so we should advocate for children. We should be a voice for children with special needs. So this conference is one of the opportunity or platform where we get to advocate for children with special needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please give him a warm round of applause. Woo! Make some noise. Woo! Yes. He reiterated something that has come through from our panelists, which is you are not alone. At the count of 3, I just want us to personalize it and say, I am not alone. 1, 2, 3. I am not alone. Now turn to the person on your right and tell that person, you are not alone. Now turn to the person to your left and tell them like you mean it, because you are there for them. You are not alone. Yes. I'm not alone. You are not alone. Yes. We are not alone. We have a community. Beyond the panel discussions, the talks, the exhibition, the shopping, it's about community. Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair is not just an event, it's a movement, it's a community. And you being here, you're part of that community. You are not alone. There are others like you who are on this journey, who have children with special needs, who are caring for children and wards with special needs. And the more we can speak out, we can mainstream this conversation, then we have more support, we have more resources. In fact, by the time we're having the next conference, we're in a bigger space because more people are in on special educational needs. They're in on special needs, additional needs, extra needs, whatever you call it, because it is all about us. So very important. So I would like us to have 1 or 2 videos play from our exhibitors, and then we'll go straight into our second panel discussion. Again, there will be time for you to shop right after the second panel discussion. So just feed your eyes and maybe start making a shopping list and all the goodies you're going to get.
We've got exciting news for you. The memorial will be live at Sente 2025 on the 27th of February. Join us at Red Carpet Hall, Oniru, for an amazing experience where you will get instant access to top quality educational toys, special needs resources, and much more. Come enjoy and explore exclusive deals while you get to take home your favorite toys on the spot. Don't miss this amazing opportunity. Save the date, 27th of February. See you there.
Ever felt lost trying to find the right school for your child? Or wondered how to give them the best care? Maybe you're tired of searching for practical answers and solutions. I get it. This is why Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair is happening on the 27th of February at the Red Carpet Hall, Oniru, Lagos. At this one-of-a-kind event, you will find practical tips and strategies to help care for children with special needs. You will also get access to a trade fair packed full with therapy tools, innovative resources, learning materials, and living aids designed to help children with special needs thrive. There will be expert sessions from professionals and parents who understand what you're going through. A community of people just like you, ready to share and support. This is more than a conference. It's a place where your questions will finally get answers. So don't wait. Register now and share this with someone who needs it. Let's change the narrative together.
A prosthetics and orthotics at Dynamic Technologies. We specialize in high-quality prosthetics and orthotics solutions to enhance mobility and improve lives. We offer a range of essential support devices, including sitting braces, ankle-foot orthosis, knee ankle-foot orthosis, fuck-up splint, back slab, night splint, and knee braces. Our ankle-foot orthosis helps individuals with foot drop to regain confidence in their steps, while our sitting brace ensure proper posture support. Whether for rehabilitation or daily support, we have the perfect solution for you. Visit the Dynamic Technologies booth at the Center 2025 Conference and Trade Fair to see our products in action and to learn how they improve mobility and independence.
We look forward to seeing you. Send us a DM for more details.
Hello everyone, this is Silifat Inosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gen, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal of our children. We also stock a lot of dairy-free products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the Nemtra protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our germs. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natural, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our stand. Hello everyone, this is Silifat Inosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gen, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal of our children. We also stock a lot of dairy-free products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the Nemtra protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our germs. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natural, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our stand. Hello everyone, this is Silifat Inosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gen, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal of our children. We also stock a lot of dairy-free products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the Nemtra protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our germs. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natural, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our stand. Hello everyone, this is Silifat Inosa, your pharmacist and head coach. I'm just here to let you know what we have at our stand. We have things for our special needs children, for our gen, and for those who have intolerance to gluten. So we stock a lot of gluten-free items. We have oats, we have cornflakes, we have the whole cereal of our children. We also stock a lot of dairy-free products, dairy-free, gluten-free, casein-free products. We also have a lot of probiotics, and especially for those who want to try the Nemtra protocol, we have the inulin, we have the California olive oil, and we have the high-level omega-3 for the brain of our germs. We have the high-level ultimate omega from Nordic Natural, CNG, and all your needs to make things better. Check up at our stand. Also check our website for your food, for your supplement at elanati.ng. Make it clean, make it whole, make it organic. Thank you very much. See you at our stand. Hello everyone.
Hello, Rememorings. We've got exciting news for you. Rememorial will be live at Sente 2025 on the 27th of February. Join us at Red Carpet Hall, Oniru for an amazing experience where you will get instant access to top quality educational toys, special needs resources, and much more.
Come enjoy and explore exclusive deals where you get to take home your favorite toys on the spot. Don't miss this amazing opportunity. Save the date, 27th of February. See you there. Precious Legacy, a prosthetics and orthotics at Denan Technologies. We specialize in high quality prosthetics and orthotics solutions to enhance mobility and improve lives. We offer a range of essential support devices, including sitting braces, ankle foot orthosis, knee ankle foot orthosis, fuck-up splint, back slab, night splint, and knee braces. Our ankle foot orthosis helps individuals with foot drop to regain confidence in their steps, while our sitting braces ensure proper posture support. Whether for rehabilitation or daily support, we have the perfect solution for you. Visit the Dynamic Technologies booth at the Center 2025 Conference and Trade Fair to see our products in action and to learn how they improve mobility and independence. We look forward to seeing you. Send us a DM for more details.
And academically. Join us today at Omomi Childcare. Together, we can create a brighter future for every child. Visit or call us today. Welcome to Omomi Childcare, where every child's potential is nurtured. At Omomi Childcare, we align with the EYFS British curriculum, ensuring that learning is age appropriate and tailored to encourage each child's unique learning needs. At Omomi, we provide a safe and stimulating environment for all children, including those with special needs. Our early intervention services are tailored to meet the unique needs of special needs children, ensuring they receive the support they deserve from a young age. With our expert staff, individualized plan, and inclusive activities, we empower children to thrive socially, emotionally, and academically. Join us today at Omomi Childcare. Together, we can create a brighter future for every child. Visit or call us today.
Thank you very much. I'm sure by the time I log on to Instagram, TikTok, would have flooded the place, our stories, Facebook, YouTube. Please post and post away. You had more than enough time to settle down, to post, to grab coffee. But we're back to the business of the day, which is our second panel discussion. And listening to some of the questions from the first panel, a lot of us here have questions when it comes to educational systems, when it comes to healthcare providers. And the next panel discussion is going to do justice. You'll learn how to navigate the educational systems, the healthcare systems, so you get the best for your child, for your wards who are living with special needs, or like we say, who have additional needs. We have really the creme de la creme, the best of the best here with us. And we're so grateful because normally you might have to pay a fee to have access to these people. But thanks to Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair, we're here getting all this knowledge free of charge. For those of you who have joined us physically, we say thank you. Those of us who have joined us virtually, we say thank you. we're back to the program. And we can't wait to invite our panelists for this very important conversation. We have about 40 minutes for this panel, so we'll have 15, 20 minutes for questions, and then we'll open it up to ensure we can take as many questions. So if your question wasn't taken and it's related to the panel session, in the disability management sector, not just in Nigeria, but in different countries. She holds a degree in law and was called to the Nigerian bar in 2008, and she holds a master's degree in international law. So it's not the law you know from Instagram and from YouTube and skit. This is the real law. Someone who knows the law, who has worked as a member of the Nigerian Vision 2020 on disability policy. And in 2017, she launched the Let Cerebral Palsy Kids Learn Foundation, and that's to improve and to promote inclusive mainstream education for children with cerebral palsy in Nigeria. I would love you to make her feel very special, make her feel very welcome, show her that you're glad that she's here. With special needs. Let's make her feel welcome. Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. Thank you so much for showing her all that love, and we can't wait to hear about all the amazing work she's doing. I'd like to bring up our second panelist, who is the director of Jordan Learning Consult, a special needs education consulting firm, and the Jordan Learning Development Foundation, which is a not-for-profit. She's passionate about the learning and inclusion of children with special needs in schools and in the society. She is a trained behavioral specialist, holds a BSc in education biology from Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife. She trained at the Pleasant Places Training Academy. She's certified by the International Board of Credentialing and Continuing Education as an autism specialist. Please, let's make welcome our second panelist, Adelola George. She's a trailblazer. She's an award winner. All about mainstreaming classrooms so that every child has that opportunity to achieve their fullest potential. Yes, I see the excitement has definitely picked up, going by all the coffee, the time we've had to engage with each other. We've fed our eyes, we've shopped, and I love it because you're going to bring it to this panel. Our next panelist is the founder and CEO of FOS Abba Center and Creative Hub, an inclusive creative center that helps to nurture creativity, social skills, emotional intelligence, and other practical skills that all children need to succeed and thrive in the world. And she provides support with families with special education needs, including autism, ADHD, dyspraxia, and other neurodiverse needs. She was once a banker, but she resigned and decided to face this full on. So inclusive with neurodiverse. Please, I would love you to make her feel very special to be here at Sente Conference and Trade Fair. Osezusi Bolo Deoku. A warm round of applause. And I dare say she's looking beautiful. Like we say. Woo! I have a feeling too. Gonna have a great time on this panel discussion. So the moderator needs no introduction, but maybe if you would like to make me feel special and welcome, my name is Isabella Adediji. I've been your MC, but I'm wearing a double hat as the moderator of this very important panel discussion. Thank you. I feel special and welcome. All right, let's jump right into it when it comes to navigating educational systems and healthcare. What for choosing a school that you look out for, and the second thing will be choosing a healthcare provider. It could be a hospital, a therapist. So one thing each that you look out for. So I'll start to my right and we'll work our way down. Just one thing for...
All right, thank you. So, don't mind me, I focused a lot more while planning towards this on choosing a school. Two key things first, before I even talk about what you should be looking at in a school. I'll say two things that parents need to have in mind when you have a child with special needs and you are deciding to school your child, particularly in an inclusive setting. But I think that you look at that even if you were looking at this center. One is research. You have the assignment of research, and secondly, the assignment of advocacy. And the reason is that your child is unique at the end of the day. No matter what the school is providing, you will have to insist that your child gets what they need. I'm choosing they because whatever the gender of that child is. So what are practical steps?
So we'll get into that. So those two things, I want us to just first respond.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Perfect.
So we have research and advocacy. If you're going to clap for her, please clap well, right? And I love what she said. Your child is unique, and you know what you want for that child. Every child's journey is different. So research and advocacy.
Okay, thank you. Yes, research and advocacy. So for me, coming from the behavior analyst point of view, I would always want to look at for what are socially beneficial to this child. So you want this child to be able to navigate their immediate environment, and what are the skills they need to do that, right? So you want this child to be able to communicate. You're looking at severity levels. It depends on the severity levels. That's how you even know the pathway to follow. And you want this child to be able to get potty trained. You are looking at things that are important to this child. And based on that and the severity levels, you would know what pathway to follow. There's what we call the twin pathway. You would know if you're going into the inclusive setting or if you're going into a center. Is based on that, as well as research. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please clap. I love how that builds on that first answer, that it still goes back to knowing what your child wants and what your child is going through, that unique journey before you make that decision on the healthcare or the school or a center, inclusive or mainstream. Thank you very much, and we'll move.
All right, so for me, the first thing that you need to think about as a parent is that what are my goals for my child? If you have not, and I find that that's one of the biggest things, parents don't have a goal. The minute the child gets diagnosed with whatever the condition, brains shut down. And it becomes about, my child has this, and all goals go out the window. So the most important thing, I always say, start with a goal in mind. with that goal, you walk backwards to say, what do we then
you can make the right decisions, whether it's their healthcare or their school. So I'd like to move to you and look at this very popular dichotomy, which is mainstream, an inclusive school that's mainstream, or going to a center where they can get, specialist care. You can just speak, because I'm looking at the time, maybe 2 minutes on it. Yes, and we'll take one more round of questions and then build on that before we open the floor for questions.
All right, so interestingly, when we started to talk about inclusion, one challenge we had in Nigeria, and I've seen Nigeria because at that point I wasn't even in Lagos, was people started to speak down on centers. But like Susie said, you need to consider your child's needs, severity of the case. What does your child need to learn now to get to the future you want to see? So what centers are they are specific, they are focused on the child, not just the child's needs, but they're like, okay, this child, this case, they want to build the right behavior, prepare the child, pre-vocational skills, pre-academic skills. But when they get into school, the school has expectations. The school is saying, okay, can you sound your letters? Can you do this? So, but then, why should there still be mainstreaming? Or what should you consider when deciding whether it's a center? Look at your child's readiness for school. Would your child maybe not sit through a lesson, but what's the sitting span like? What's the attention span like? Let me speak from the autism point of view. The first skills we look at in building, that we build for an autistic child, would be attention, imitation skills. Does your child have imitation skills? Does your child have attention skills? If those two skills are missing, they will struggle in mainstream. But if, for example, you're in an environment that requires that you take your child straight into mainstream, then you want to ask how the school, or what do you do to ensure that in that setting, those skills are still being built before we start sitting span, before we start looking at the academic skills that your child needs to learn to thrive in the schools.
Thank you very much. From the health side of things, some people, when they're looking for healthcare providers, might choose to look on the internet, might choose to speak to people, and someone says, oh, I recommend this therapist. But what should you be doing as a parent when you are setting out to look for a healthcare provider, whether it's a therapist, a clinical psychologist? What are those factors beyond just someone advised you or you saw something on the internet?
Thank you for asking that. Okay, thank you for that. So, I hope I don't get into trouble for this though. So, when you're looking for someone to work with your child, right? I know that there are a lot of well-meaning humans on the streets of Lagos that are therapists. I mean, they want to give, they want to do something, which is good. But they do not have the capacity and they are not trained to do what they want to do. So, first things first, you're looking at, I would always say, a behavioral therapist before even the speech therapist. And I would say why. Behavior, especially when it comes to special needs, neurological disorders like autism, ADHD, before we talk of sitting tolerance, that's a behavior. For a child to assess the learning that they are learning in the classroom, they need certain behaviors. Imitation skill is a behavior. And if the child do not have or does not have the skills, the child would not even be able to vocalize. Vocalization is speech, right? So even if they can appropriately and functionally point to the door like I want to go out, that's functional speech, right? So you're looking at therapists that are well equipped to do that. You're going online, you're going to the boards, because we all have boards that we're part of. You're going to check the registers on these boards to see the individuals that are there, and you're going to contact one of them. But you're not going to go on the streets of Lagos or based on someone's referral. They may mean well. Teaching is different from therapy. Teaching is different from therapy. It's not about the will. The child does not have a will. It's not about, oh, I'm encouraging you. You can do it. You could say, you can do it, and the child does not get to do it. So the child needs therapeutic, which is treatment. The child needs that. Okay, so that's what you should be thinking of. Thank you.
You've heard it, and it's a safe space here, right? It's not the streets of Lagos. It's not referral, because every child's journey is different, and it starts with the behavior first. I'd like to move to our next panelist. And there was something you said in your earlier answer, which was about the goals that you have for that child. So knowing that you have health goals and you have educational goals, as a parent, you said something, once you get a diagnosis, you just shut down. So how can a parent, move away from that self-denial, woe is betide me, what did I do, to actually saying, this child deserves to have a life, not just to live with this diagnosis? How can they actively make the right kind of goals for their health, but also their education?
So this is where the place of knowledge and asking the right questions comes in. I always say to parents, the minute you get a diagnosis, I know that it is shocking, nobody expected this. If you can, suspend grief for a couple of minutes and ask, so what next? And if you are in Nigeria, unfortunately, sorry, I don't know how to be politically correct, so I'm about to shake a few tables. If you're in Nigeria, unfortunately, and your child has a diagnosis of cerebral palsy, for instance, you can unfortunately run into people who will tell you, this one is not going to amount to anything, no, you better go and have another child. Thank you for validating what I said, because I said what I said because I know what I've heard. Now, it's also up to you to choose who you believe. And that's why someone like me decided to become the face of what is possible with cerebral palsy. Because you will hear these things. So it's important to then say, I hear you, but you are not the only voice. So I will find a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion as to what is possible for my child. What next? And then they will say to you, of course, immediately they've told you that the child shouldn't even exist anyway. So nobody's going to tell you that your child deserves an education. Because the child that is not even supposed to, come on. So it's going to be up to you to then say, now that I have gotten the multiple opinions, can I collect like terms? I'm serious, this becomes a research matter. You actually write down everything everybody has told you is possible, and you collect like terms, and you basically say, okay, so what do I need? Everybody has said therapy, for instance. Everywhere you've gone, everybody has said your child needs therapy. What is therapy? I've never heard of therapy before. What does it mean? What kinds of therapy? Who are the people that provide these therapists? And like she said, please, you are not going to be picking therapists off Facebook groups and WhatsApp groups and the streets of Lagos. There is something called the Medical Rehabilitation and Therapists Board that certifies physiotherapists, occupational therapists, and speech therapists in this country. They have a website. I beg you, by the mercies of God, make sure that the people that you are engaging to work with your children are actually certified therapists. I say this because in conditions like cerebral palsy, we are not just talking about regressions. We're talking about children sustaining fractures and children dying from actually having the wrong therapists. So it is important, as we're setting these goals, I want my child to, so you set your goal, all these therapists, okay, I want my child to talk, I want my child to walk, I want my child to this. But let me say this. Your goals need to run concurrently. My parents used to say something. Education will not stop for therapy. Because in these neurological conditions, you and I know that they are lifelong. They are not going anywhere. So you cannot suspend the rest of your child's life because of therapy. Everything has to work concurrently. As your child is getting the therapies that you have decided they need, whatever you have decided is their educational pathway, be it you decide, oh, you want them to go to a center, you want them to go to a mainstream school, you need to start it concurrently. You can't say, I'm waiting until they talk. I'm waiting until they sit. I'm waiting until they walk. Excuse you, what if they never walk?
So it has to be concurrent.
It has to be
I love
concurrent.
that.
Thank you.
Education and health. So we'll just have one more round of questioning and then we'll open it up to the audience. So I want us to be very practical. You go into a center or you go into a school and you're looking. What are you looking for? What are you looking out for? What kind of questions should you be asking? So let's just scenario play, 2 minutes each. In a center, 2 minutes in an inclusive school.
All right, so first, I wanted to mention something, that speech is not a prerequisite for education, by the way.
Thank you.
So the fact that a child is not talking does not mean that they cannot be in even a mainstream school.
Thank you.
As long as the school and yourself can provide the accommodation that the child needs to thrive. Having said that, what should we be looking out for? Let me speak from mainstream perspective. Although, to be honest, I have both experiences. I started my career in Patrick Speech and Languages Center. But in a mainstream school, you want to ask questions about the service they want to provide for your child first, then the training their teachers have. Some schools do something where a teacher has worked, you say, this teacher we are going to put your child in the class, that teacher has worked with 15. I'm speaking from autism perspective because that's where I've worked, right? They work with 15 autistic children in their 15 years or 5 years of work. If you meet 15 children with autism, you have met 15 autistic individuals, separate individuals. They are distinct. So the fact that this person has, so them saying one teacher can do it is not what you need. You may need, now let me speak to the Nigerian. I know my supervisor is going to have my neck for this because she's always saying what should obtain. But we'll look at what obtains in Nigeria. That's why I said advocacy. So your research includes first understanding your own child. What does your child need? The second thing is you want to look at distance. Your child cannot be on the mainland and go all the way to Lekki to go and school. So what are the nearest schools around me that look like first can provide this service? And you now start to go around and you're asking things like, what SEN services do they provide? Schools have SEN policies, and sometimes their policy will state exactly what kind of children with special needs that they would take into their schools. So does that school have that in their plan? Like, do they have that policy that says, oh, they provide? Because some schools will have 20 children in a classroom, that's what they want to do. And that school will tell you that they have 10 children in a classroom. What does your child need? Will your child thrive in a 20 children in a classroom class? Those are questions you're also going to ask. Do they have an SEN department? Do they allow, for example, this one, people have my neck for it, do they allow external service providers? If they do, what support would the school give? Or what regulation?
I think that goes back to the SEN policy in place.
Yes, what regulation does the school have for those external service providers and all of that? So you are then asking those questions, and of course the teachers, are they trained? The whole school, is it trained? What kind of experience do they have with working with children with special needs? What kind of special needs have they worked with before? They've done dyslexia, they've not done autism. All right, because you have a heart for it, I will now come in. That comes the advocacy part. You say, okay, I want my child to get this service.
We'll
this
come
school,
back to
how
that.
Because that's the practicality.
Yes, we'll
if
have questions.
You then say, my child needs to have this number of arts relationship or something, you will now help, because you are supporting the school. In Nigeria, everybody, all of us, we are learning along the way. Some schools have done exceptionally well. Sometimes the school you will find is that school that will partner with you. to give your child what your child needs. But if you
love
don't know what
that.
your child needs, if
That
you don't have the goals for
partnership.
your child, that school will, you will just leave your child hanging.
Thank you. And I love how it still comes back to the parent knowing what they want. Everybody has echoed this, the severity, but also having goals and knowing what that child can do. I know people have questions, and that's why I just want us to have enough time to take their questions. So very quickly, I would like us to go back to, walking into maybe a health institution, for example. You've gone online, you found, the therapists, you found the hospitals. What should you be looking out for? She has spoken from the educational standpoint. I'd like to hear from you from the health point.
All right, thank you. I was going to build on that as well, but let me answer yours first. So when you get to a center, a clinical setting, for example, of course you've done your research and you know that they are certified, right? It's not just the boss, that is all the bosses that are certified. You want to be sure that the therapist that is working with your child has the right certifications to work with your child. But as a parent, really, we set goals. The first thing you're doing, aside managing your expectations, which should be in your goal setting, because you wouldn't just want someone that's not talking yet to start vocalizing in 6 months, because because some parents have those expectations, right? Parents, be very open to feeling the environment. Mothers are quite intuitive. So when you get to an environment, what's the ethos of that environment? Is this an environment where my child will thrive? I would use autism as an example. Autistic individuals could be parallel learners. They are children that they could learn very fast, as well as they're quite focused on certain things. Is this an environment where they would want them to do things that they are not really interested in? How do these people relate with the children? I would want to go to an environment where it's play-based. Play. Where the kids are not looking at it like, oh, it's work, this is therapy, I'm coming for therapy all the time. Where it is child-led, like a natural learning environment. You want to look at that. Because of plateauing, where there's something we call when a learner has learned certain skills, the center is not really about teaching the child 1, 2, 3, maths or English. What the center is about is giving them the skills that will give them access to the teachings the teacher is teaching. The skills that gives them the access. So what are those skills? The sitting tolerance, being able to thrive with other children, taking turns in the classroom, sitting down for cycle time. Those are the skills you want to give this child. So are these therapists equipped when this child stops learning? Will they be able to go to the graph and say, oh, strategically, let's analyze this treatment plan? It's deep. So you want to look at centers that can do that. They are not just speaking, and they are not just giving you words, but they are visually, like using graphs to visually represent progress that you can see and that cuts across all environments. That is generalized. So it's not only at the center they can do this. You see some children, oh, they did it at the center and they don't do it at home. No, that skill has not been mastered.
Yes.
You want them to master skills across all settings. If they can do it at home, they should be able to do it on the playground, in church, in the mosques. They should be able to do it, all right? So you're looking at centers that can deliver that. Talk to the therapists.
I think what you said is so important. The ethos, doing your research and, looking out for that level of experience and expertise. We only have about just over 16 minutes, and I want to take at least maybe 3 questions. So I will take the first 3 that put up their hands. Okay. So we'll start with the gentleman. And then we'll have the lady and the lady. But before we take the questions, I have one more question for my panelists. So I just wanted to get my 3 questions because we have just about 16 minutes. And my last question has to do with cerebral palsy because the first 2 answers looked a lot on autism. So I want you to contribute from that perspective of cerebral palsy. And I love how you said sometimes it's a life or death thing because the child can get injured and actually die if you don't have the proper health care. So please just pause. You know yourselves, the 3 of you. You keep your questions very brief, but I'd like my 3rd panelist to have a chance to respond.
Okay, so you want me to respond to what you need to look for in a school and what you need to look for in a healthcare provider?
From a cerebral palsy.
So, for a child with cerebral palsy, one of the first things you look for in a school is a school that is accepting. And the reason is this. Unlike autism, cerebral palsy is very physical. So the child looks different. You see, a child with autism doesn't look different from other children at the beginning. So they can totally not even know when child's coming in. But the first thing you're looking for, one of the easiest ways to eliminate schools is when once you can see the disdain at the door. I always tell parents, schools are not doing you favors, they're providing you a service. So if a school is providing you a service with disdain, why are you using your money to pay for disdain? So if a school is not accepting from the door, move on. And the thing is this, unlike autism where there are all of the certifications and all of the trainings and all of the this and all of the that doesn't really exist in the cerebral palsy community. Because like Adelola said, if you've met 20 children with cerebral palsy, you've seen 20 ways that cerebral palsy can manifest. Every single child with cerebral palsy shows up with a different flavor. So therefore, you are looking for a school that is willing to meet your child where they are and learn along the way to take them to where they need to be. Because the truth is, for a child with cerebral palsy, most of the time you're not dealing with attention issues. Most of the time we're not even moving. Don't worry, we're where you put us. So there's no attention issue. We're sitting down. Most of the time we're memorizing everything you're saying, even if we're non-verbal. So a lot of the times, the prerequisite skills for learning are there. But it takes somebody who is willing to see beyond what you look like physically to be able to work with your child and pull out what already exists. And that's what you're looking for.
Yes.
And for your healthcare providers, let me repeat. Make sure, I'm begging because I have lost children to this nonsense. I have seen children have fractures that take years to heal because somebody hired some quack that's parading himself on Facebook as a physiotherapist. There is the Medical Rehabilitation and Therapists Board that licenses physical, occupational, and speech therapists in this country. Make sure that your therapist is licensed by this body before you hire them. Don't use your money to buy additional problems. Thank you very much.
Don't use your money to buy additional problems. We only have 12 and a half minutes, so very quickly the microphone will get to the audience and we can, okay, great. Your name and your question. Please keep it brief so we can take all 3 questions at the same time and we'll have a chance for our panelists to respond and we close it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Waliu Bomodioku and I'm an educational psychologist. My question, if I'm very, very brief, I would like you to advise regarding parents who, whenever they have, they employ the services of specialists or therapists to work with their children, tend to resign the fate of their child to those therapists. So you have cases where they believe because they've hired this person, they don't have any part to play anymore. And then, very briefly, also for things that appear superficially simple, things like screen time, for example, you have parents who use that as an escape route and have their children resigned to watching screen, using the screen for longer than it's advised. And there are many researches that show that this is actually a big problem. Please, I'd like you to speak in that regard.
Thank you. Very important questions. Please, can we have the mic go to The second person.
Yes, I'm Glory Moisili. My question is this: what is the relationship, or what role does the Montessori apparatus play in, treating these special needs children? One, two. I'm here very intentional because I just started a journey. I've been a Montessori teacher, and I also head a center, but I feel that I'm exhausted. I just need to start something new. And I'm just picking interest in this special educational needs of children. So I really need a guidance to do it properly. So that's the second question.
Okay, thank you very much. And our final question.
Okay, I'm Inasha Ibu, and my first question is it possible to also be a teacher and a therapist at the same time? And my second question is, what's the difference between a school and center? And do kids graduate from centers just the way kids graduate from schools? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, you can choose the questions to respond to.
That's hard. I feel like I can answer all. So let me start with yours, because centers are specifically tailored to meet the needs of individuals with special needs, and oftentimes specific needs. So you hear she runs an ABA center. They use the applied behavior analysis, science of behavior, to work with individuals with special needs, and they've mentioned the quizzes, right? But schools are schools, right? But children graduate from centers. Centers are designed to graduate children to different levels. So some will move into mainstream schools. Some, and a very good center would oftentimes have a plan for what they call transition. What's the next step? So now we're teaching, this child is 2-3 years old. What's the next step? Is next step school? If the next step is not mainstream school, what's the plan? So is this child going to learn the vocational skill? So as I mentioned earlier, that there are pre-vocational skills and pre-academic skills. Interestingly, they are intertwined, because even if you work in early childhood education, your children are learning pre-vocational skills like all those bidding, fine motor skills, and all of that. So there must be a plan for transition. It's planned by both the center and other stakeholders in the child's life, and in particular the child, looking at the child's strength. And the child can communicate in whatever way, their own strength or what they want. That child plays a part in it.
Can a therapist and a teacher, like someone be
if you're a teacher and you want to, I started off my career as a teacher. However, I wanted to work with children with special needs, so I got trained in it. Trained and got licensed. Now I'm trained to be licensed QASPS in ABA, right? So you can start off as a teacher. You can be a teacher and say, okay, no, I want to help. I want to do therapy, actually. Then you get the training and the license for that. And Montessori, and the same thing applies to you. Montessori is not therapy. Montessori is teaching. While it can be effective in teaching children with special needs, it is not the ultimate. So if you really want to help these children, you want to get trained in specifics. I won't answer the next question, so I can say this. See, when we say special needs, it's a broad term. Autism, CP, ADHD are not the only conditions that fall into that. There are many other conditions. We have the Dynalimp. I saw their video. Children with limb loss, they also fall in this. So sometimes, even if you are here, you're in this room, your interest is not autism. Whatever it is that is your interest, do the research and say, what is the training and the license that I require to function? Somebody asked me once, I said there's FSOT in Nigeria, in Lagos State. That's the School for Occupational Therapy. If that's where you will go and train, because the service you want to provide is not ABA. The service you want to provide is not teaching. However, by the time you describe it, sounds like occupational therapy. Go and do that diploma, get licensed to meet the needs of the children that your heart is beating for.
Thank you very much. Would you like to respond?
Okay. I just wanted to jump on the first question about parents who abdicate responsibility to the therapists. So there are two sides to this thing. One thing that I have found with a lot of therapists is that, believe it or not, a lot of therapists use jargon to confuse parents. And so when the parent does not even understand what you are saying, what will they do? Abi, if you don't understand what the person is saying, would you leave the person to do it? So if you want the parents to be on board, you need to be able to explain it to them like they are 2 years old. If you can't, then you still don't know your job. And that is the biggest problem that I have seen with therapists. Even when we're working with physiotherapists, you're doing this, you're doing the routine. A parent is asking you, so this thing you are doing, what is it supposed to do? You can't explain. Excuse me, you don't know your job. So how do you expect that parent to step up and follow you if they don't even understand what you are doing? That's the first thing. If you've simplified it enough and you've made it hands-on so that parents can do it, there and they don't do it, then we will know that parents are lazy. Because yes, there are parents that just won't do. But half the time it's because we've bamboozled them with jargons. The other thing with screen time is that whether you like it or not, there's parental burnout. Okay? If you have ever been a parent of a child with special needs, you will understand that, look, sometimes it is putting that child in front of that tab for 2 hours that will help that parent get a nap. So the truth is, it's easy for us to say, oh, these parents are not doing what they're supposed to do. Realistically, is it easy to sit with this child for 24 hours in a day? So if it is that we are going to work it into, again, it goes back to you explaining to the parent what they need to do, and then looking at their schedule and saying what works. How do we eliminate screen time? If it's that we know that at home this child is going to get 2 hours of screen time so that you can cook dinner, maybe that means we have eliminated screen time in school so that, or in the center, so that when he gets those 2 hours at home while you are cooking dinner, that's the screen time allotment for the day. We all have to be working together and not throwing blames.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm going to add to that the collaboration thing. If you're right, the jargons is a thing. It's a thing. So if every day you communicate with your parents, right, and you tell your parents the steps, and really that's why I like ABA, applied behavior analysis is very open. You see the steps. You tell the parent that, okay, right now we are doing screen time, right? We're trying to reduce screen time. And the parents understands the steps. The parents will follow through because at the end of the day, the parents want what's best for their child. You cannot love the child more than their parents. And I know that I started off as a teacher as well. Teachers, wise, were very empathetic and very kind. We could be very judgmental. We don't stay with these children 24 hours. These parents, they live with their children and they really want what's best for their children, right? So please, let's be open-minded and let's try to help. Let's have the mindset of we are willing to even help and meet the parents, all right? And as for Montessori method of teaching, I've found that with individuals, ADHD and autistic individuals that I work with, it could be quite distracting for them. It doesn't work for it's a teaching method. It doesn't work for every child, so it's not therapy in any way, okay? As for the center and the difference between the center and a school setting, okay, the school first and foremost is teaching academic skills. That's their core function, right? They aside the other skills you will get, the pastoral and all the other things you will get. First and foremost is you're going there to learn maths, English. The center has no business with maths and English. So any therapist that is coming to your home and doing counting and reading, and that's not therapy. That they're just teaching. And the child does not even have it in their repertoire to understand what you're teaching yet. Therapy is helping the child. You're looking at the motor skills. You're looking at the communication domain. You're looking at the emotional domain. You're looking at different domains that would help the child have access to the teaching. A child that does not respond to their name, you call them, they can't respond to their name, but they can respond to a verb. You say, John. John wouldn't respond, but you say, John, take. John would take. And you're wondering, but he hears me. He hears me. That is a very specific treatment in ABA. Very specific, because the part of the brain that would make them recognize their name, they don't have the capacity to do that yet. So you have to teach that. A teacher cannot do that. So, I mean, there is a clear difference. Center is therapeutic, teaching, school is teaching. And do they transition? Absolutely yes. They do transition to schools, to mainstream schools. Remember, they are there to learn, acquire skills that will give them access. So when they have this skill, there's this assessment we do, we call it school readiness. Yeah. School readiness assessment. And when they are able to function and have access in the classroom setting, why not? If they need extra support, fantastic. Facilitators, I say no to them. I'm sorry. A facilitator is not a therapist. A facilitator is like a shadow telling the child, do this, do that. You don't want. Yes, some children do need that, but for how long would they need that? A therapist is supposed to gradually phase themselves off the setting. So how
That
long?
will depend on which special needs.
Yes, the severity level.
Severity and the type
severity
of
level. And then when we're looking at
needs.
severity
We have only
levels,
about 30 seconds.
and then when we're looking at severity levels, then should the child be in the classroom setting in the first place? Should you be thinking of transitioning the child if the child is not getting any benefits in the classroom?
We need to redefine what we mean by benefits.
I think there are so many important points that have been raised, and sadly we're out of time. But the good thing is that the next item on the agenda is lunch, so you can get to network. And I beg if you can stay behind so that those questions you might not have had the chance to ask, you'll be able to engage with them. Please, can we give our panelists a warm round of applause? They have really stirred the conversation and given us a lot to think about. So I'd like to invite the convener of the Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair, Mrs. Moody Wachuku, to the stage for a quick picture before we break for lunch. The conversation still continues, and like we said, a lot of it still goes back to research and knowing what works for your child. Being at this conference is a form of research because you can engage with professionals and ask questions. So now we'll take pictures and then we'll give instructions for lunch.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good
Please
night.
remember you can still ask questions. They are not leaving. They're very accessible and eager to spread what I'll call the good news, because a child living with special needs is not the end of the world. We've seen an example right here on stage, and I think that's really a powerful testimony. I want to say a big thank you to our panelists, even as they make their way off the stage. Can we just really warmly applaud them? Let's cheer them on. Woo! Energy! Thank you so much. So we have lunch, and during this period, we'd like for you to visit the exhibition stands and also to visit the exhibition stands and also to network. So we're very mindful of your time. You'll still be fed, but won't break out. So we'll remain on our seats. We have refreshments that will be passed around. But if you do want to purchase a meal, rice, pasta, a drink, you're free to go outside. We have a food vendor just to my left. Once you exit the hall, you exit the marquee to our left, you see a food vendor who has different dishes for sale. But we also are providing refreshments, so you can remain on your seats and a refreshment will get to you. But if you want a full meal with drink, rice, pasta, what have you, please make your way outside. Purchase the meal, come back inside because we'll be moving to our next panel in another 5-10 minutes. So we're able to save time. Our panelists are already here and we don't want to delay by breaking up for lunch and everybody leaves the hall and it takes us another 20 minutes to get everybody back. So please remain in the hall if you do want to get refreshments. But if you want an additional meal, if you want to buy a drink, if you want to buy rice, spaghetti, pasta, you can exit the hall, go to the car park to the left side, and you see a vendor who has meals and drinks for sale. Like I mentioned, if you remain on your seat, we will get refreshments to you. We also have a special green room for our panelists, our invited speakers outside, where we have refreshments for you. Our next panel session will look at practical tips for daily care. So when we say daily care, potty training, everybody has to use the bathroom at some point in a day. Everybody needs to eat. Everybody needs to sleep. There are life essential skills that we all need. We need to wear our clothes. We need to eat. We need to sleep. We need to go to the bathroom. These are everyday skills. So we want to give you practical tips. Earlier on, I said this is not aspire to respire, expire, and then perspire. No, you are here for tips you can put into practice as you leave this place. And it's really going to be a very interesting, engaging, and I dare say informative session. We have our panelists here, our able moderator here, and we can't wait to get into that conversation because we know that it will spark up a lot of questions, and that can even be followed up when we have our Q&A at the end. Just a reminder, especially for those who have joined us late, we have more panel sessions. We've had 2 sessions. We have 2 more sessions, one on practical tips for daily care. This is happening in another 5 minutes. We have one on estate planning. What happens when death comes knocking at our doors prematurely? We don't know when we're going to die, but we'll all die. So what happens to our children, to our wards who have special additional needs? What is in place? And that's why I was so glad, even in the exhibition area, you have people with legal expertise, you have people with financial expertise, so you can go and speak to them. So we have a session on estate planning. So it is not had I known, what if only they told me. No, that's why you're here at Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair. So that even if the unfortunate instance of death should happen, you know that your child, your children, your wards will be well taken care of. You know they won't be exposed. People won't take and play on their vulnerabilities. Right after our 4th and final panel session, we will have a short presentation on the value of play in the development of a child with special needs. During this panel session, one of our panelists spoke about when you get to therapy, is it therapy or do they use play? So the child is not thinking, oh my God, I have to do this therapy. But the child is thinking, well, this looks like an enjoyable thing because it's filled with play. It's not just serious, right? And there's a place for play in the journey of a child with special needs. Right after the fourth panel, we'll have our Q&A. So if for some reason we weren't able to get to your question, please don't be in a hurry to leave. We can be here till 5 p.m. So once we are done with our panel sessions, we're done with that presentation on play, we can now take more questions. After we've taken more questions, you can go to the exhibition area. You can shop till you drop. Well, don't drop. Continue shopping and shopping and shopping. And you can network. You can exchange contacts. You can make friends. Like we said, you are not alone. We are not alone. So it's about community, it's about this movement. And then we'll have our closing remarks. We'll bring this event to a close. So please, just give us the remaining hours of the afternoon. And I promise you it will be worth your time. And we say the same thing to our virtual attendees. You can get up and stretch. You can go grab something to eat and come back to your device so you don't miss out on the action. For those just joining us, we have our restrooms to the right. So if you look to the right of the stage, you'll see the security personnel, you see ushers just by the door, and once you go out, you'll see the restrooms. Again, let's make sure our phones are still on silent or vibrate mode. We won't want any of the important conversations to be interrupted by any funky ringtone. And let's put our devices on silent mode. And let's ensure that our devices, phones, laptops, gadgets, tablets are with us at all times. We are responsible for our personal effects and items. So please, let's keep them close to us and let's not leave them unattended to at any time. Again, we'll have refreshments going around very shortly. If you do want to go out of the hall to buy food, to buy drinks, you're free to. But we'll be moving to the next item on the agenda, which is our third panel, Practical Tips for Daily Care. And we'll have a time for Q&A. Just so that I know that we're all following along, can you make some noise for yourselves? Can you give yourselves a round of applause? Can you feel yourself? DJ, please, 1 minute, give us a trendy song. I don't know, should we be Oblain? I don't know. I want something that will, make us move a little. We can't be saying value of play and we're also serious. We can't be saying that, this journey has a bright end and we're all just seated. It's a bit too formal. Let's stretch a bit. Do we have any volunteers that are very good dancers? I want to join me on stage. I know we have therapists here. We don't have any dancers here. People that used to win best dancer, that they will be fighting with the children. They will be challenging the children. No. If you are sitting down, you are on a long leave. If you know your joy has come, it's not just coming, but your joy has come. You get on your feet, okay? If you know joy is coming, or it has come, you won't be sitting down. I will come into the audience. Are we not grateful for Sente 2025? If you're grateful and you're happy to be here, let me see you dance. Yes, so. Hey. Hey. This side, where we done? Let's just small. We had coffee. Let's burn some calories. Hey. What's happening here? Do we need? Let's go. If you know this song, you can sing. What is happening here? If you are sitting down, you are on a long team. Tell this person, cross. You are on a long team. If you are sitting down, you are wrong. If you are sitting down, you are missing out. If you are sitting down, you are on a long team. Oh shit. If you're grateful to be at Sente 2025 Conference and Trade Fair, you will get up on your feet, you will dance, you will move, you will smile, you will record, you will bear body. If you know you're working with a child with special needs, it's truly a blessing. You won't sit down because you know the future is bright. Where are my Oscar Rodos in the house? If you are a pepper my sister, you're sitting down. You're the wrong thing. Mommy is giving it to us. Where are my pepperitos? Pepperitos in the house. If you are hot like Rodo, we will see you Rodoing. If you know, you know. The big ballers in town. Now you know. Now you know. Forget what they know them. Agba ballers in the house, make some noise. Premium or not. If you are balling in 2025, now you know. Forget what they know them. Let me see your popo. You are undefeated. You will be on your feet. Luxury or nothing. Luxury or nothing.